So this video is on using proportions to find missing side lengths of polygons. So you have these two triangles, and we want to find the missing side lengths. So we're going to create a proportion. To do that, we got to know which sides correspond to each other. So we're going to use the names to help us do this. So TS corresponds to UV. So TS is going to correspond to UV. So I'm going to make a fraction out of that. I don't know this length, so I'm going to call it X, and I'll put it over 10. Equals, continuing using the name, SR corresponds to VW. So SR corresponds to VW. So since I used the larger triangle in my numerator, I've got to use the 21 from the larger triangle in my numerator. Then I'm going to go ahead and cross multiply and solve. So x times 7 is 7x, 21 times 10 is 210. Divide both sides by 7. And we get x being 30. So this right here is 30. So finding the missing side for these two triangles. Once again, we're going to use the name to help us find the corresponding sides. So we have DE. That's going to correspond to DV. So I'm going to put 56 over x. Once again, calling the question mark x. That's going to equal. Keep using the name to help us correspond sides. So EF corresponds to VW. Well, that lets us know that WD and DF are corresponding sides. So I will have it set equal to 63 over 27. Going to cross multiply. 56 times 27 gives us 1,512. X times 63 is 63x. Divide both sides by 63. And we get 24. So this measurement right here is 24. Okay, this time we have two triangles. One is on top of the other. We can still use proportions to figure this out. So in this case, we have the full length, and then we have the smaller length. So we can take the 54, put it over the 45, and set it equal to the whole length, which we don't know for this particular side of the triangle, which will be x, over the smaller length, which is 40, just like we did on the other side of the figure. Now we're going to cross multiply and solve. So 54 times 40, 2,160, 45 times x, 45x, divide both sides by 45, and we get 48. So this total length here is 48. Okay, so this time they want us to solve for x. Using the name is going to help us figure out what sides correspond to each other. So DE corresponds to DM. So DE corresponds to DM. So I will make a fraction of 20 over 32. Continuing to use the name, EF corresponds to ML. So these two go together. So therefore we know that this right here corresponds to this one here. Now since I started with this triangle in my numerator, the 15 needs to go in the numerator. This will be in the denominator. So we'll have negative 8 plus 4x. Go ahead and cross multiply. 15 times 32. We're going to get 480. And then the 20 times negative 8x plus 4, I'm just going to write that out. Now I'm going to use the distributive property. 20 times negative 8 is negative 160. 20 times 4 is going to give us 80x. From there, just going to add the 160 over to the left side. That'll give us 640 equals 80x. Divide by 80. And we get 8. So x equals 8. Okay, when we have 3 parallel lines with 2 transversals, we have a theorem that lets us know that we can create a ratio with this segment over this segment. So 9 over 15 equals this segment over this segment. So 2x plus 3 over 25. From there, we can go ahead and cross multiply. So 9 times 25 is 225, and 15 times 2x plus 3. Distribute the 15, so we have 30x. 45 equals 225. Subtract your 45, and we will get 180 equals 30x. Divide both sides by 30, and we get 6 for x. Okay, so for this one, we need to make sure when we make proportions, they're matching up the corresponding sides. So when you look at 25, I'm going to have that number in my denominator. So I have 3x plus 3 over 25. Now that means I'm going to have 18, because that was total length in the numerator, total length in the numerator. But I'm not going to use the number 3, because the number 3 corresponds to the segment right there. But I need to make sure the 25 corresponds to the segment right here. Now I know the total on the right side is 18, and the small piece is 3. Therefore, this is going to be 15. So I'm going to have mine 18 over 15. They got to be corresponding sides. You got to be consistent. So now we go ahead and we cross multiply. 18 times 25 is 450. And then we're going to cross multiply, so we have 15 times 3x plus 3. So we're going to get 45x plus 45. Subtract the 45 over. We're going to have 405 equals 45x. Divide by 45. So 405 divided by 45 gives us 9.